Hi friends, welcome to Spark Nature. This week we wrapped up our month-long study of the elements with water. We headed to the pond to explore a new ecosystem and learn how mushrooms play a vital role in moving water and nutrients. Come along for the fun.
We're working on water, and we're going to talk a little bit about how water is connected. And one of those connectors is mushrooms. And mushrooms are actually the fruit of the mycelium. So we're going to go on our walk here, and I'm going to ask you guys to keep an eye out for mushrooms, one, but if we don't see mushrooms, we're looking for mycelium. It's this little white fuzzy stuff that connects. It's called hyphae, and it connects, and that's actually the plant or of the mushroom. That's what the mushroom grows out of. Keep an eye out for like little white fuzzy stuff on the ground as you're walking. You might see it on the edge of a tree.
After our morning meeting, we set off to explore, circling the pond and making our way up into the forest. The landscape felt completely different from our usual spot, and we couldn't help but pause again and again to take in the beauty and wonder of it all.
If you guys take a look at this, Amadeus found this tree, this branch that's down here, and you can see the mushrooms are here, but if we look under the underside, you see these little white hairs? And some near the top, that's the mycelium. That's actually the plant. This is the fruiting body of the mycelium. So this is actually what the mushroom is, right? And then this is what the fruit is. Kind of like the tree is not an apple, but the apple falls from a tree or an acorn, right?
Of course, we always leave space for free play and healthy risk-taking, and the kids loved it, climbing an old hunter's chair perched high in the trees, balancing across fallen logs over the stream, and even creating a seesaw from a pile of sticks. From there, we gathered on the yoga deck with our field journals, ready for our lesson and nature experiment.
What mushrooms do is they connect plants and move water and nutrients throughout the system. They help spread water out throughout, either in the log they're decomposing or under the ground beneath us, to make sure that those plants get the water that stays in the soil. And those little threads are called hyphae, and those help spread the water out. And the mushrooms, they kind of work with the plants. As these mushrooms, the water, the hyphae are out there, and the tree, he's got his roots in the ground. The tree roots only can go so far. But what happens is they high five and they say boom. And the hyphae's got his water there, and the tree's like, well, I've been making sugar food. Can we work together? You give me a little more water and I'll take some sugar too? And they work together in this way so that the mushroom can pull out some of the nutrients from the tree. The tree's got the sugar, and then the tree, because the hyphae is there holding the water, it gets able to pull some more water up into its system to help support it. Now, there's a fun little fact. The largest living organism we know of is actually a mycelium in the Pacific Northwest.
As Mr. Adam introduced new vocabulary, the children either took notes or drew pictures, depending on their age. We also passed around a microscope image of mycelium so everyone could get an up-close look.
And just a note, you never want to eat a wild mushroom without checking it with an adult and then someone who knows if the mushroom is safe to eat. Because there are mushrooms, if you eat them, they will really hurt your belly or worse. Because they break down material, right? They are decomposition. We could say they decompose. The act of decomposition. That's their kind of claim to fame, if you will. Mushrooms help break down things like all these leaves that fell over in fall, and then wintertime, there's a dynamic system that's helping break those down, but mushrooms are part of that. And they help change those leaves back into soil and get the soil with the nutrients, and then the trees and plants can take that back up in through the water that the mushrooms are then providing and trading with them. So listen up. We talked about what the mycelium is. It's kind of like the cluster. It's the main part of the mushroom, right? It's going to be the main holder of the water. But it's also got these little strands called hyphae, right? And then the people at the other end, they're going to be a tree. And we're going to see, hold that, Oliver. You can put the string in the cup kind of thing. Hold on to it. We're going to see if we can get the water from our mycelium to our hyphae into the trees. Now, what are we missing out of this equation? Water. Let's dunk these. So Oh man, who's ready to get their hands wet? Not directly under, that's easy. Back up, back up, back up, back up. We gotta let the water travel. I can catch it underneath the cup. You guys are good with that. Spread out so you get a little tension on it, but if we so that little demonstration for us, we had our mycelium, which was our main store of water, and it sent its water down its hyphae all the way to your tree cups. And that just gives you like a visual representation of how water can move without necessarily being in a stream or a pond right here.
The kids loved this experiment and turned abstract concepts into something they could actually see and understand. Next, it was time for art, watercolor painting around the pond.
The reason we're sitting on the shady side is we wanted to really take in the whole pond, okay? So from this angle, you could see the edge of the pond on both sides. You can see this log laying across the top of the pond. You can see the metal filter in here. You could see a bunch of the lily pads on that side of the pond. You could see a little bit of the bridge. So when you look from this angle, you'll see a lot of things, okay? A plein air study is when you draw outside, okay? That's all it is. So what we're trying to do is capture a part of this view, okay? You've got beautiful colors here. You've got the blue of the sky. You've got greens. You've got browns. So what we're gonna try to do is draw what you see. It's as simple as that, okay? Now, because there's so many things to look at and so many things to draw, you might just focus in on one section, okay? Maybe something catches your eye. Maybe something is the focus of your drawing. And find something that captures your attention that you'd be like, this would make a cool watercolor. So everybody can draw something different. It could be just what you see from this view. If you want to get closer to something and you're like, I gotta get around it, I want to go see it, you can move around and go see it when you actually start drawing it, right? But
Mr. Sebastian and the children began sketching, each choosing their own focus, exploring perspective, angles, and what captured their attention. Once the sketches were complete, they layered in watercolors, bringing color, depth, and contrast to their work. We love plein air painting because it teaches kids to slow down, observe, and truly notice the details around them. It builds patience, presence, and a deeper appreciation for the beauty of nature, especially in a setting like this. Once everyone was finished, we lined up the paintings in the sun for a little outdoor gallery. Such a beautiful ending to a truly glorious day. As always, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Help us spread the spark and reimagine education for children. And don't forget, get yourself and your kids outside.